Hi everyone. As I mentioned in the course news, this is going to be a little CSS demo to show you how to make a nav bar for a website that indicates what page you're currently on. So the idea is, you look at the little gumdrops here and you're at the home page. So it's got a different background color than the other tabs. And when you mouse over the links, because these are all links, you get an underline. So the links have a hover class. And I also set the visited class and now we've moved over to the FAQ page. So you see the FAQ page is the active page. But if we go back to home, you'll see that the text for this link, it stays black. And that's all done in the CSS because we don't really want the color of the navigation link text to change when we visited a link. So the way it's done is if we go over and take a look, this is the HTML for the FAQ page, but this is the HTML for the main Nav Bar demo page. And you can see it doesn't have any IDs, but it has a class called nav that must be doing something for our navigation bar. And it has another class called current that must be doing something for our navigation bar. And if we look at the CSS, here's the CSS, and I wanted to show you a couple different things. And some of this is like the exercise in the neatest text, and some of it's a little different. But the first thing you do is you make the basic unordered list be very plain. So you have list style type none, so that means there's no bullets on each of your list items, and you don't have any padding and you don't have any margins. And then here is where you start to play around on the list items with the LIs, and that's how you get the nav bar. And I did this by setting the display to inline block. And if we look at it, you can see that I have my tabs and they have a little space in between them. And that space is not exactly all quite the same. And that's what Neaterst meant by, Neaterst does this by, instead of displaying the list items as inline to make them go across instead of up. Well, first if we take that away and save it, and then you can see this is the default display for a list. It's vertical rather than horizontal. And in the Neater's text, she talks about getting the tabs to go across by setting the display, rather than setting the display to inline block like I did, she sets them all to float left. So we can try that and see how it looks and save that again. And if we refresh, and you can see they're exactly up against each other. They don't have that margin. And the reason why the margin is uneven when you do the inline display is that the size of the tabs changes a little bit depending on how much text there is in there. And this is what Neater's meant by saying that you can control the spacing of your nav bar better if you do the float left. You make everything float all one direction, and then if we go back to our CSS palette and we go to the margins, then we can set, we just want a left margin, and we can just set that to 1px, and we'll have a little skinny margin. We could play around with it, we could change it, but let's save it, and then let's see, refresh. See, we have this nice little delicate even margin in between our tabs. And this is what Neater's meant by you can control the spacing of your tabs or your blocks of your navigation bar a little better with float and setting the margin instead of displaying your list as inline so it goes across, but then the spacing is determined by the size of the text in each LI in each list item. So if we go back and take a look at a little more of this, we gave it a background color. It's that light gray. We gave it a fixed width. And then this is what makes the rounded edges. It's this border radius property in CSS. It's a newer CSS property like the CSS table display that we looked at in the other demo last week. And I actually haven't tested this. It works in quote unquote modern browsers. It might not work in IE. I have not looked at it yet. But we give our LIs a width and a height. I don't think this is necessary. Let's see. I actually can't remember. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to save it. And let's see if the bullets come back when we go back over. If both the UL and the LI have to have, yep, I guess both the UL and the LI have to have no bullets. So let's go back to the CSS. Actually, let's try taking it out on the UL and see what happens. They probably both have to have it. Let's see. All right. Refresh. No, just the list items themselves have to have no bullets. So then if we go back and look at a little bit more, I put the text align into the center. I made the text come out as all capitals. I put a little bit of padding on the top because let's see what happens if I take away that padding. This is the space between the tops of the letters and the tops of the tabs. So if I copy that and take it out and then save and then refresh, see, it's kind of bumped up. It doesn't fit quite right. So we need that little bit of padding to make our text move down and be in a nice spot on each tab. So we'll save that again. Then the colors and the links, these are from styling the links. So we have to say, where is this LI? It's in the nav class. And the links in this list item, the text is in the center, the text is capitalized. I just copied everything from up above. I kept the color, the gray, but the main thing is we want text decoration none, so it won't automatically be underlined, and the color is the gray. This is what we're doing to make our unvisited links not be blue and underlined. Here, this is the links that we're hovering over, that we're mousing over, and here I did put the text decoration underline. There's some other things you can do. It's kind of fun. You can almost make the text wiggle. If we go back to our CSS and we go to, I can't remember if it's font or text. It must be text. Font. Yeah, font weight. If we make it bolder, let's say, I'm not sure if that'll be enough, and apply. So not only will our hovered over links be underlined, they'll get bolder. Let's see what happens if you can even see it. It might make them kind of wiggle as we mouse over. It's not doing it too much. It's not doing it very much. It's not enough of a difference to do it. But that's a trick that some web designers use, is you change the weight of the font in the hover link, and then it seems to kind of wiggle to get bolder. Let's go back. Under here, if we take this away, and take it away, and then save, and then refresh. So these are all a lot lighter, and then see, they get, they don't just get underlined, they actually get bigger. So that's a trick that some web designers like. It gives a little sense of activity to the links. If we go back, and then this is the visited, and this is what makes our links stay the same. We're not changing the color. We're not so that the links will not change color. And then this is our bit of styling to make the current tab change color. And we can change this. This is a kind of a tan that I copied from the Sliss website. And I don't know, we could make it some other color if we wanted to. Let's see, how about, I don't know, pink. Let's make it pink. Okay, apply, and then we can save it, refresh, and now the page that the active page that we're currently on is pink, and if we go over to the FAQ page, it's still, the active page is still pink. So that's a quick demo of how to make a nav bar with a background for the page, the active page that you're on, and also some options for how to space it, and some options for styling the links.